Let's get into how you can use technology to optimize your supply chain. We're a quarter of the way through the 21st century. It's time we admit that technology isn't just the future, it's the present. So, for your supply chain to keep pace, you need to reduce costs and improve efficiency. I think we all can agree on that. Uh, so then it's a good thing we're about to cover automated vending solutions, real-time inventory monitoring via FASTBin, and comprehensive e-business platforms. The other person you see on the screen is Ben Johnson. Ben, before we dive into those topics, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody where you are? That to me doesn't look like an office.
Yeah, thanks, Kurt, and good afternoon, or I guess good morning to some of you. Ben Johnson, and yes, I am in the Innovation Center here. Very excited to give you guys a tour of this facility. I've been in the industry for just over 33 years, all of those years with Fastenal. So I've seen a lot of things, seen a lot of changes in technology, but I'm currently in a director of sales role on our inventory management technology team. So super excited today to talk to you guys about this topic.
Thank you, Ben. Before we get too far into it here, I think we should start pretty high level. In your opinion, what's the benefit of adding technology into supply chain management?
Yeah, sure, Kurt. So really everybody's looking for, reduction in costs. They're looking for gains in efficiency, gains in productivity, and for sure technology does all those things. But in my opinion, where the real magic in technology and inventory management comes in is really through gaining insights through the data capture and data visualization. Some people say data utilization. So if you're on this call today and you don't have a great visibility into your data, don't worry, you're not alone. We work with lots of customers, and most customers we engage with initially don't have a great idea or a great picture of their data. So that's something technology can help with. That's something we can help with. As we start to capture data, typically it's at the point of use within a facility, we start to gain those insights on, is it the right inventory? Is it in the right place? Is it the right amount, the right technology? And through that, we can start to respond when something changes. And if we're really good, we can, or if we get a good picture of the data, we can start to respond before things change. And that's really where I think that those gains in efficiency and productivity start to come into place.
You mentioned the data and how some people don't have it right away. Even for people who have a good amount of it, there's always more. You can always
Right.
find more data. Yeah.
Right.
I think that in some ways that can be, excuse me, I've only been talking all day. You think my voice would be used to it by now.
Mm.
Uh, I think it's time that we dive into some of the technology that we're really talking about here. Fastenal has more vending units installed around the world than anyone else in our industry. So can you start there? Can you tell us how vending improves inventory management?
Yeah, first, just touching on what vending's for, what it's not for. So vending's not for everything. I think everybody by now kind of knows that we don't put everything into a vending machine. So vending is really for your more highly consumable products. So I'm looking to create control and tracking around products. So not every product I need to know who took it, where it's going. So it's kind of for those higher turning type parts that might fit into a locker or a coil, but really the advantages that you gain by utilizing vending, whether it's Fastenal's programs, other suppliers' programs, is number one, you're going to get automated ordering. So that's really important. If you think about, if you don't have technology doing that, you have a human making a decision when you need to restock something, it's really inefficient. So I think all vending machines work off a min max. So once something gets below a min, that automatically triggers a restock with your local supplier. So that's a huge efficiency gain again. And then also big ones, reduction in consumption. I think most people who had vending, that just out of the box, a vending machine is going to reduce the amount of consumables you're going through. If you're putting the vending machines at the point of use, there's a big gain in efficiency through walk and wait time. So if somebody's got to travel to a supermarket centralized parts crib or whatever, there's cost savings opportunities in making that local. So really through that, we from a consumption standpoint, we're seeing 20 to 30%, and I think that's pretty much an industry standard. So vending has just exploded over the last 15 years, and as you mentioned, Fastenal does lead the way.
I think you kind of hinted at this, but vending is really, you mentioned the track and control, but vending in so many ways is maybe not a person's first step. And that
Mhm.
might be, it's amazing what vending can do, but it's almost impossible to talk about improving inventory management without touching on FASTBin. So what makes that technology such a game changer?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, not everything's for vending. So think about the parts. Maybe it's fasteners, maybe it's fittings, things that either they don't fit in a machine well, or they're just not the overhead, the expense of a machine doesn't really make sense for it. So, but I still want to enjoy the features of having automated reordering. So that's really what FastBin's all about. Is we're using different types of technologies to electronically monitor the inventory state 24/7. And if I were to compare that to somebody, again, back to that human having to make that decision, making looking into a bin to see if it's above min or below min, that takes time. There's days that can go between the last time I looked at it. That can create risks in your supply chain. So by adding that technology to make that decision on a restock immediately is going to give you great gains in a reduction, or more so a reduction in your current inventory levels, your reduction in stockouts, ultimately leading to reduction in downtime. All huge cost savings drivers.
Okay. So FastBin is more entry level? Curveball question, Ben.
Not necessarily. No, I wouldn't say that. I would say
Okay.
that it really depends on what the application is, and what do you want out of the behaviors of this product. So we do both all the time. So you could say it entry level from a standpoint of less overhead, less technology, but very
Okay.
just as valuable.
I think you read my mind there. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Let's shift gears a little bit here. What are some common challenges that teams face when implementing these technologies? And then, of course, the natural follow-up, how can people overcome them?
Yeah. So we see a wide spectrum of challenges, of course. So we see the side of people wanting to rush too quickly. We see people taking too much time, maybe overcomplicating it. On the rush side of it, we see this a lot, and a lot of it's with larger implementations, larger customers, where maybe a deadline isn't super realistic. I'm just bringing this up because I think we all in an industry can do better with our planning. Even Fastenal can do better planning sometimes. But when a deadline gets set, and maybe that deadline is set because another supplier is getting kicked out, and maybe one supplier's taken over for another supplier, the risk in doing that and trying to make that all happen really quickly is, often you're just replicating an existing program that didn't work, and that's why it's being replaced. So we're just swapping products from one machine into another. And then what Fastenal ends up doing sometimes is, we can't just let it stay that way. So there's a process of going in and redoing everything, which takes, could take months, can take a lot more effort and resources, and just I guess not good for the customer, not good for us. So my advice is to make sure you listen to your supplier, go through the process. We have a very specific process that everything needs to happen, typically in the right order and in the right time. And we're going to get the right parts and the right technologies. You're going to get way better gains. But on the other side of that, don't overcomplicate it. Like, I've seen customers take months trying to get the perfect inventory in a machine, and you're never going to get it perfect, especially if you don't have great data. So get it as close as you can. Let the data start to allow you to make tweaks along the way. And so I think, yeah, it's that partnership with the supplier to answer that kind of follow-up question, is to let your supplier lead you through those decisions.
Okay. And you've kind of given me a perfect segue. Thank you, Ben. The
Yeah.
idea of the perfect inventory, isn't that something that we can tie back all the way to the beginning? The data is going to tell you what the perfect inventory is. And perfect in this year isn't the same as a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. So
Always
it's
changing.
always changing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That same time thing, everybody, that wasn't planned. We did not practice that.
Yep.
Okay, Ben, I'm going to put you on the spot for this one. You do sort of know this is coming, but can you share any case studies or customer stories where there were improvements, any customer wins after this technology was implemented?
Yeah. Without getting into all the names and the specific situation. So yeah,
Sure.
we've got um, tens of thousands of customers who utilize our technologies, but we work with your team, as you know, Kurt, on these case studies. So We've got case studies that are specific to FASTBin, some that are specific to vending. We've got industry-specific case studies. So really a pretty wide range of case studies that we get that question a lot. And maybe people just need to be pointed to where they exist. Sometimes that's half the battle. So
I hear
I do
you.
believe you guys have some queued up. If you just want to have them dropped in the chat, yeah, we'll let people.
And lo and behold, there we go.
There they are. It's almost like
Thank you,
playing
Henry.
Kurt.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, before we open it up for questions, we did promise a live tour. Ben, can you make it happen for us?
Let's do it. I think that's going to be the exciting part. So just bear with me. You're going to see me touching my screen here. I'm just on my iPhone here. So Aaron Cates is with me today. Aaron was kind enough to walk through the tour with me and hold the camera. So before we get to the actual technology, we're going to just give you guys a little bit behind the scenes. So what type of technology are we talking about? How does it work? So behind most of our vending machines, we've got simple logic boards. We call them edge boards. We've got a version 1, a version 2. And I apologize. We just had a volume come on here. I'm going to turn that off.
That's the whole reason we do it live.
That did not go as planned. All right. So the control boards, edge boards. So really, what this is firmware. It's designed to communicate to hardware, make coils turn, make lockers open, and communicate to our web-based software to really determine who's got permission to access those devices. We've got wireless communication devices. So we get into the world of Bluetooth or BLE, which is a low energy Bluetooth. And we also use LoRa, which is a long range connection. So that's how we communicate to data to our FASTBin devices. We utilize RFID. If people aren't aware of RFID, there's a tag inside of here with an antenna. When it gets near an RFID reader, it just charges that antenna, lets us know that it's there. So anybody ever ran a 5K race, you've got an RFID tag inside of that, your number. They're in badges. They're in all kinds of devices that you use every day. Infrared technology we get into. So infrared is like your garage door sensor. There's a circuit with infrared light, and as we unblock that circuit, we can change inventory states. So pretty simple technology that's been around a while. We get into potentiometers. So these are basically just technology and math to determine you see them in stereo volumes, all kinds of things, everyday items that you use, but it's just measuring the distance that something travels, which allows us to associate that with a product to know whether it's been taken or not. And then we'll get into some load cells. So we've got a few different devices that, works just like a scale for exact quantity on hand. A load cell technically is it's a inexpensive way to monitor exact quantity on hand. You can see the piece of aluminum. When I put product in there, it changes the dimensions of that piece of aluminum, and it ties it to a quantity. Then last, we get into barcodes all the time, especially with our fast stocker scanning from regular old school barcodes to the quick response or QR barcodes. So lots of different types of barcodes. So with that, without further ado, we'll get actually to our technology. You can see a little bit of a tour of our room.
That is cool.
I had to turn the volume off on the TV. I thought it would look nice to be playing a video, and that kind of backfired. Sort of blaring.
I didn't hear it, so I don't know if everybody else heard it or not.
Yeah, probably not, but I could hear it. I didn't like that. All right, so fast stock. So this is our bin stocking suite, inventory management suite. Very simple. We've been doing this since the beginning for 60 years. We've been monitoring inventory on a just-in-time type basis. So I think most suppliers do this. Think of this as low or slow moving maintenance parts. There's not a lot of technology involved. We're going to put labels on fixtures such as pigeonhole fixtures like you see there, drawers, pull-out drawers, cabinets, racks, but don't think just physical fixtures. This could be closets, shelving units, anywhere where we can affix a label and orient them in a fashion that's going to create a location. So I would call this would be called a planogram. It's a location within a facility. Really the beauty of this that Fastenal does, it's really the technology we add to bin stocking is we face all of our planograms digitally. So our customers have access to see where parts are stocked within a facility, multiple facilities, multiple locations. And, ultimately it's about finding parts. So we got got lots of big customers with lots of locations. And another way, transitioning into a product locator, another use for that planogram is for if you got employees on the shop floor and they want to look for products. So I've got vending machines, I've got FASTBin locations, bin stock locations. I need to find a pair of gloves. I have no idea where to find it. So we have a simple touchscreen kiosk that allows them to type in keywords, manufacturer numbers, customer part numbers, or we can search through this touchscreen category tree. So there's my glove category. I've got a second level category. So I'm looking for a coated dipped glove. Just going to drill it down, attribute filters if I need them, but ultimately land on the part that I'm looking for. And we're going to name the location of where that vending machine is a name that's relevant to the customer so they know where to go find it. So that's really the big purpose of that planogram, other than collecting data on those product behaviors right at the point of use. And one other thing on scanning, so we can either do the scanning or we have an Android app or an iOS app for your phone. Customers want to scan bins, we have a feature for that. All right, so let's get into FASTBin. So FASTBin, I mentioned it. It's faster moving items. They can be MRO, they can be direct items, but this is really about trying to identify the moment when something goes below min inventory level, rather than waiting for the 3 days for somebody to notice it and creating a problem in your supply chain. So there's 4 ways of monitoring inventory. We'll start with RFID. So I talked about that RFID. There's an antenna within a label. So in a 2-bin system, so 2-bin systems, otherwise known as Kanban systems, multi-bin systems, real simple concept. It's been around for a long time. We're tying a product location to an RFID tag. And how the system works is I've got a primary bin, and then I've got a secondary bin. That's my reserve bin. That's when I need to let somebody know that I'm now below min. I'm about ready to run out of stock soon. So let the supplier know. So all we do, rather than using a card system, which if anybody's used card systems, they're good, but there's still a lot of entry work, and there's labor involved with that. This is a simple bin and enclosure. It's going to let our local store immediately that item is now below min. And an important point with Fastenal, all of our technology communicates to that local store. So that person, that customer service rep that knows your business is receiving information to better service you. So we're not sending routing orders to centralized distribution where it's getting shipped out third-party carrier right on your dock door. This is going to people who know your business. Cards can be utilized. So this is an optional card system that would be utilized for like a large pallet location or 55-gallon drum, large items where I'm going to pull a card out of a card holder, put it in the enclosure, and it's going to get the same effect of restocking. All right, from a couple other FASTBin items, we have a click. So click, this is customer generated restock. So I like to use the example of, think of a janitorial closet. I've got my custodian who walks in, notices, hey, I'm low on toilet paper. What do they typically do? I got to make a phone call. I got to write it down. I got to do something. Our solution is to just create a simple push button. So this is a Bluetooth enabled device that allows me to first see the current inventory state. It's telling me blue is above min. I want to change that inventory state to yellow. It is now placing that order with Fastenal to reorder whatever that reorder quantity is. In this case, it's a case. Next person could walk up, hey, is it on order? Boom, it's telling me it's already below min, it's already on order. I can't duplicate that order, so it's got some intelligence to it. And then below that is we've got electronic Bluetooth scales utilizing that load cell, so exact quantity on hand. So think of your direct material items where quantity on hand is important to know, more so than just an inventory state. Do have that's just becoming available today. And then the fourth way to electronically monitor inventory state is infrared. So this is pretty exclusive to Fastenal. We utilize just regular bins with a inserted sleeve, and inside of this there's the printed circuit board like I showed you on those edge devices. But what this does has a series of infrared sensors. There's either between 12 and 24 sensors depending on the size of the bin, and they're all creating a circuit of connection unless it gets blocked. So depending on how full this is, it's going to let me know approximately how many sensors are blocked, giving me an inventory state status back at the store. And as that inventory depletes, it's going to open up sensors and change that inventory state. So whether these are stacked on the bottom, on the back, it's really just a number of those sensors that are blocked. Again, Bluetooth to an internet access point. All of our FASTBin technology utilizes the same internet connection points. So all very simple to install. These come in small, medium, large, and extra large. Great technology. Point of use technology. If I compare that to RFID, think point of use, not in every case, because RFID can be point of use, but typically RFID is more of a supermarket solution. All right, so let's get into vending, and I'm going to try to keep this trucking along. I know we got limited time here. Vending, as Kurt mentioned, we are the world leader in industrial vending. We are the largest provider of industrial vending machines with right around 120,000 vending machines deployed at customer locations. So, Fastenal has been doing pretty well-oiled machine for the last 15 years. We own our own technology, our own machines, the software, the custom builds, the transportation, the install, the tech support. So we don't rely on third parties for any of that. What you're seeing here is a coil machine. Coil machines are fantastic. They're old technology, but they're really good at what we want them to do, which is just kind of controlling access. They're very simple. Everybody knows how to scan a badge for the most part, type in a motor position that's going to bend out my part. They're very reliable. Reliability is key in the industries that we get into. Very little wear parts. There's motors behind coils that are a pretty simple wear part to replace. A local branch can do that in less than a minute. So these things will last forever. They're also very secure. So if your IT department doesn't like plugging in third-party devices under the network, which most don't, we've got a very nice story to tell with this logic board that is completely secure. So think of your PPE, your abrasives, cutting tools, regular tools, mentioned abrasives, but tapes, adhesives, flashlights, batteries. So your general MRO items that you're trying to give access to an entire facility, but I might want to create limitations or restrictions. So we have that ability to by cost center, by individual to create some limitations. From a data standpoint, it's all tracked in the cloud. Real-time information on right out of the box. As an employee, I'm tied to a cost center, so I'm getting good data at a cost center level. If I want to ask additional questions, such as where's it going, we can get into GL codes, job numbers, stuff like that. All right, lockers. I'm gonna speed up. I feel like we're gonna run out of time. So lockers often can work. I'm looking at the clock up here, Kurt. Lockers work in conjunction with the same controller on that coil machine, or we can have a standalone controller. But all lockers function exactly the same way if they're an unscaled locker. We've got 2-door up to 36-door. What you're looking at is an 18-door here. At each position, I can configure that uniquely to either dispense consumables out. I can configure it to manage the check out and check back in of assets. Along with that, there's a lot of cool features that work directly with our industrial services on tool repairs, calibration. So we can set up preventative maintenance, calibration schedules, lock items down, track who's had it last. That's the out-of-the-box feature that come with these lockers. Or we can also do product pickup. So think of your unplanned spot buy orders. Fastenal can deliver those to a locker that creates a locker pickup code to the purchaser with really a good chain of custody, great system for getting your orders. Here are some larger locker positions. We've got the 36-door locker on the end, or at least on that end. And then on the very end, we have a scale locker, which I kind of referenced. We've got 3 different styles of scale lockers. So these are for dispensing of consumables only. The idea here is to create a little bit faster, accurate transaction. So there's no question on what quantity I took. The scale picks it up. It's a simple open of the door, grab what I want, shut the door, walk away, fast transaction time. And again, I'm getting the accuracy. With my remaining 2 sensor devices, I've got a single door, and then either a 7-drawer or a 9-drawer option. And if I were to compare these to a coil machine, these are really like maybe a department rather than an entire facility would have access to this. We don't care as much about the control. We're looking for speed of transaction. So I have a single access point at the controller. to control whether I can get in or not. Once I'm in, I've got access to all of these products that either utilize spring-loaded paddle behind the box. So that's that potentiometer. I take a box out, it slides the next one forward, registers the transaction. If I have full product that I took too much of, I can put it back, which is kind of nice. I can't do that in a coil machine. So we can do small boxes, medium-sized boxes. They're scaled items. And we've got an aerosol module at the very top. And we won't get into vending aerosols in this seminar likely because we will get into a deep discussion and we don't have time. So we're gonna skip.
I'll book an hour for the future, Ben.
Yeah, maybe so. All right. So the drawer unit. So again, I've got controlled access at the drawer level. Once I open a drawer, I get into this environment of really fast transaction time. So I'm not spending time looking at a screen, finding parts. I'm literally opening a drawer. I'm grabbing whatever I want. Each compartment is controlled by a load cell scale. So it's going to pick up the quantity that I took, whether I take it out or put it back in, shut the door, I'm off on my way, and very, very slick and fast transaction time. And then finally, this is brand new. This is not available yet, except for some select pilot customers, but this is Fastenal's getting into the Carousel Machine. Finally, there are a lot of them out there. In our opinion, we've always felt like there's room for improvement on the Carousel Machine. Haven't always been reliable. So we work directly with the manufacturer to engineer a very rugged, durable, reliable Carousel Machine. This is really going to be focused on our metalworking industry. So we can put a lot of parts in here, a lot of cutting tools, up to 756 small compartments. If I want to expand sizes, I can pull a pin out, go from a 2-inch to a 4-inch, all the way up to a 6-inch. And I can either dispense consumables or manage the checkout or check back in of assets. So we're back to that whole control. Unlike the drawer, where I can take whatever I want, I can control the exact quantity that you get in this device.
Not to mention you put so many pieces in such a small footprint.
Exactly, yeah. And that's, 760 versus, we're talking between 60 in a coil machine or, 2 to 300 and some of these other devices. So that's a big feature, is more parts, better control. I do have a touch screen. I'm not going to don't have time for the demo, but I can build a shopping cart based on a job number or just enter in parts, search for them like my product locator, check out of my shopping cart, the wheel spins, lights light up, doors open. So
Ben, before you go sit down, can I ask you a question?
Yep. Sure.
You hit on it before, POU, point of use. While you're still standing, are there some of these machines that make more sense to be point of use, or is everything that we're talking about, is all technology point of use technology?
Ideally, everything that I just showed you is point of use. It doesn't mean that it's always point of use. We can put vending. Yeah, it depends. The question is, it depends, because we have them. Because I'm thinking of customers, we've got them at break rooms, so it's a central point where everybody's walking through there.
Yeah.
So they get their PPE in the break room. Is that point of use? Not really. It really depends. So every one of these devices could be either or, but we like point of use just because it allows us to capture data on what's going on in that particular department or area.
Okay.
That's
I
better
thought I
data
might
for
be
us.
asking an it depends question. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, you're good. All right. Well, let's sit down. Let's answer some questions and not extend our time too far here.
Yeah, we had a couple come in. While Ben's getting set back up, I'll pull them up here.
I'm ready.
First one from the feed was from, I think this is a CE Europe. I think this was in relation to the fast click, but are a lot of these newer technologies available in Europe?
Click is so it's always a moving target with Europe. So I gotta think if Click is ready, and we might have to get back. I don't want to promise that it's ready right at this moment.
That's a fair answer. We did some digging.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. I think it's very close. I don't think it's quite ready, and I should know.
Actually, that's the exact answer that I think we pulled up too.
Henry, it just Henry released in the U.S. in the last couple months, and if my guy Robert was on the call, he could tell us, but he's probably muted.
Okay. So let's take a look at some of the pre-feed. Where'd we go here? I'm switching screens, you guys. I'm really good at this. Here we go. Uh, what emerging technologies do you think will have the biggest impact on effect on supply chain management in the near future? Don't let a word nerd anywhere near your questions, people. What's the future hold for us, Ben?
Oh man, there's a lot of emerging technologies, but without question, AI is our future. AI is going to change everything. So the key to it, though, is that you need to have access to data and it needs to be clean and organized. There's a lot of people kind of starting to dabble and understand the AI world, like garbage in, garbage out. So Fastenal is making very big strides in the organization of all of that point of use data, categorizing it so it can be meaningful. But to me, this is going to be a game changer. Productivity gains are going to be through the roof. I'm going to date myself here because I've been in the industry a long time. So I have witnessed servicing customers and then cell phones basically coming into existence. I mean, they were available in the 80s, but nobody, you had the
Zach
big brick
Morris. Yeah,
phones,
yeah,
but
yeah.
the Nokia phones. So I was around when that changed everything like dramatically of how we serviced our customers. And then really the onset of the internet and all of the technologies around internet, I watched all that happen and wow, just mind-blowing changes. Now it's video conferencing, what we're doing today. That's changing everything. I think AI is going to change things more than we've ever seen. It's very exciting and it's scary. My wife's a teacher. She has a completely different opinion of AI than I do. But in our industry, productivity is where it's at. It's going to be incredible.
I would agree. AI is the next big thing. Next question says, how can my business stay ahead of the curve? We are looking to continuously improve. There are ways to work in the supply chain processes with new technologies. I butchered that. But basically, are there ways to work? Are there ways to put the new technologies into continuous improvement? I think is what I'm getting out of the question
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I believe the question is like staying ahead of the curve. If
Oh
you
yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
improve, if you want to improve your supply chain and the processes, so it's all about, to me, it's benchmarking a business process. So understanding what your current state is. Maybe it's your MRO procurement process. So benchmark it, measure the total cost, the value, the impact. So what's my current state here? And then challenge it with technology. What can technology do to improve that? And use that data to really drive change into the supply chains. And I know that's a little bit high level and vague, but benchmarking is the key to everything. You got to understand where you're coming from and where you're trying to go. Then it's the cost for worth the risk.
So
We can
this
help you
is,
with that.
yeah, this feels like data keeps getting mentioned. Is it chicken and the egg often? This is my question now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
So
sorry. What's the question? Is it chicken or the egg with data?
yeah, because it feels like, well, I know I want to put technology in, but I don't have any data. Do you need the data to get going?
No. You need to partner with the right supplier that can help you. Like almost all of our customers that we partner with for the first time are coming from the same place. They're like almost apologetic in a lot of cases. Like we're in the stone ages here. We do not have access to any data here. And yeah, we've got to do some guessing. Got to do some interviewing. We got to do an assessment to understand. We're going to measure everything we can measure. Then we're going to take our best swing at implementing what we think is best. But the data ultimately is going to aim us towards perfection. So it just, if you have the data, it's better. If you don't, we're used to it.
Okay, we've got one here that says, my business is looking to upgrade our supply chain technology. What is the one piece of advice you would give us?
Yeah, I kind of where I was going. It's partner with a data driven supplier. Make sure that your supplier has a plan to be data driven because you're going to get left behind in the future if you aren't. And leverage those suppliers to make, like, if I'm a customer, I'm not doing any of this. I'm doing very little on my own. I'm leveraging a supplier who does this for a living to make the investments in my business with all of the technology. I don't want to pay for that technology. Have my supplier do that for me. Have them consult. Have them do the benchmarking and the analysis. And bring me the findings and give me the ability to make decisions, and then challenge all my suppliers to do that. Whoever can do that the best, that's who you partner with. But I'd also say have a plan to capture, clean, and organize data. If you don't have one, start thinking about it, because you're going to need it. If you want to utilize these, AI-driven tools to look at inventory levels, service models, cash flow, those tools are coming. And if you don't have the data, you're going to miss out.
So let's end on this then. We kind of talked about how people would get started on this. What other resources are out there, or is there something that people should be reading so that they can be learning more about supply chain technology?
Yeah, I'm going to give you, for the most part, one, and I think I'm going to plug you guys. I think Blueprint. So Kurt's our editor of Blueprint, and it is fantastic. So if you want to know what other customers like yourself are doing to improve their supply chains, there's lots of good stories in there. So a lot of good reading. I would also just say, again, I kind of keep going back to you've got suppliers, they've got resources, learn from your suppliers, challenge them to do that benchmarking of your current state and proposing a future state within your supply chain. And I think there's a lot to learn. Your suppliers work with, whether it's us or someone else, that they're working with hundreds, if not thousands of customers just like you. So we're all learning every day what's working, what's not working. And let us consult you. Let us tell you what's best practice. Sometimes people like doing things a certain way, but you know what? Everyone else kind of does it this way and it works really well. So that's how you learn, through other good partners.
Well, if anybody has any questions, please reach out to myself and especially Ben. You probably want to talk to Ben more than you want to talk to me, but find us on LinkedIn. If you see any of our after event emails, go ahead and reply to that. Thank you for your time today, everybody.